Hi, this is Dr. Cooper, and this is a podcast for the ENG101 Freshman Composition course. Today's podcast is the Week 13 weekly podcast and also the Module 5 Welcome podcast. So we are starting the last module of this class. Yay! If I had a soundtrack, I'd play the fake clapping and cheering in the background, but I don't. We have three general objectives to cover in this module. We also will have not 2 weeks, but 3 weeks in this module. I need to correct that. And you can see down here that it's weeks 13, 14, and 15. So basically, we will cover the same pattern that we've covered in the 4 other modules, where we will have 2 journals, 2 discussions, 2 assignments, a handbook activity, an essay, and a quiz. Although we have skipped our quizzes, so don't worry about the quizzes. They will be replaced by something else later, so something a little bit easier. So let's talk just quickly about Module 5. Like I mentioned, it is a 3-week module, and the essay that we're going to write in this module is a rhetorical analysis essay. And this essay tends to be one of the most challenging essays in the whole course. So that's why we do it as a group project. And although many students don't prefer to do a group project, especially at the end of a semester, this will make writing this last essay a lot easier. And I do give you an out after this first week that if people in your group aren't working, you are more than welcome to do the whole essay all by yourself. But once you see what is in store for you, you might want to opt into the group project because it does cut down on the workload. So, and keep that in mind that the assignment, although it can be done by one person, it was assigned as a group project. So I'm expecting a fairly lengthy essay, 5 to 7 pages. So it's better if you work together in a group. So our theme for this module is personal freedoms. And the module also features a group project that I just talked about. So what's going to happen is students will collaborate with classmates to write a rhetorical analysis on an argumentative article. So you have read a little bit about argument, and this essay will focus on argument. You wrote your last essay, which was an argument essay. But this time, instead of writing another argument in the way that we did, like a position paper, this time you're going to pick an argumentative essay written by someone else, and then you're going to analyze that article based on the elements of rhetorical analysis. Okay, so the assignments that you will do, one is getting you started and organized to be able to do this group essay, and then the second one, which is assignment number 10, you will evaluate your contribution and the contributions of your group members. So again, you will not be responsible for carrying anyone. If someone's not participating, we will be able to kick them out of the group. And if they are one of those pretend participators where they just show up, they don't really do much, you can evaluate them at the end, and grades will be based on the evaluations. Okay? So you want to make sure that you do participate because your group mates have to tell whether or not you did or not. Okay, so we already talked about the assignments for this module, but the whole module is worth 200 points. So like I said, the module will focus on rhetorical analysis, and it requires students to write a critical reading or to apply your critical reading skills that hopefully you have either learned previously or are learning right now in CRE 101. And basically, you're going to break down the text of an argumentative essay. So the goal of the rhetorical analysis is to articulate how the author writes rather than what they actually wrote. So you're not going to agree or disagree with his argument, his or her argument. You're basically going to come up with your own argument that states whether or not his argument or her argument was effective or not, and why was it effective. Okay? So to do this, you must analyze the strategies that the author uses to achieve his or her goal or purpose in writing that piece. So that means you will discuss the ethos, the pathos, and the logos that the author used in that paper. So you'll remember we started out this semester talking about rhetorical analysis, and you all wrote a very small example of a rhetorical analysis with assignment number 4. Well, now we're writing the big one. Okay? So as a group, students will choose an argumentative article for your project. So that's the first thing that you're going to do as a group, that each person has to go find an article that's argumentative and on the topic of personal freedoms. And you're going to share the articles with each other. So there are groups of 3 for the most part that we have going. And so you'll have 3 articles that you will choose from, and then you'll vote on the best one. Now you want to try to find a lengthy article because you have to do a rhetorical analysis. You don't want something that's only a page long. So you will also, after you've chosen the article, you will then write a rhetorical situation cover page. You will also designate who's doing what on the outline, and as a group you will write the introduction paragraph, and you'll see that in the outline. So each of you, the 3 of you, will work together to write the introduction, but then you will split up all the other sections of the paper to do on your own. Okay, so each person will be responsible for 2 to 3 sections in the paper. And then obviously once you're finished with the sections, you will come together and put the sections together, do a little editing, blending to get some to make the essay unified and coherent, and then you will submit it. Okay, so the final essay is submitted as a group project after you have edited and revised for the unity and coherence. You will then evaluate your performance in this group project. Okay, and then if a student worked alone, he or she will do a regular evaluation of his or her own work. So you will evaluate your own progress in the process. Okay, so group work is very important at this level, especially once you are moving on to the university. It's important that you understand how to work effectively in groups. And being that you're in an online class doesn't change the ability to work online. In fact, it's better. You don't have to meet together at the same time, so don't try to say, when can you be on campus? Just make sure that you're all participating and you agree to participate on a daily basis in the shared document. You can leave notes for each other, you can email each other, but you don't have to meet at the same time. It's not needed. Okay, so group work helps students explain, summarize, apply, analyze, synthesize, and evaluate an aspect of the subject matter. That's why group work is important. Okay, so you can see that we have 3 weeks. We have some reading, a journal, a discussion, and assignment 9 in this week. And then next week, there's a mystery missing folder, but I will find it by next week. But you will have a reading, journal, discussion, and your handbook activity. We're going to finish up the personal learning plans and connect composition. So make sure that you are continually working on that and get to 100%. And then in week 15, we have reading, the essay, assignment number 10, and a quiz. We may or may not have that quiz, so I'll let you know when we get to that. Okay, so 3 weeks to work on this, and then you will notice that there is a final week, week 16. Well, that's when we are going to work on our writing portfolios. So your journal that you've been posting to all semester is your final exam writing portfolio. There are some assessments that you have to add to it. Some of you may have already added 2 of them to the writing portfolio, but all in all there will be 6 assessments that you will have to add, including all of the journals that you have been writing. So we'll talk more about that later. So for now, let's take a quick peek at week 13 and look at how we can get started. Okay, so you can see here that the objectives, the reading assignment. So chapter 10 I assigned in the last module 4, and that's online in Connect Composition. So I didn't write that, but if you click on it, it will actually open up in Connect Composition, and then you can read. After you log in, you can read chapter 10 again. Okay. But the other one is a handout on the different types of argument, and this is important because not only are you going to have to locate an argumentative article, but you also want to be able to talk about what type of an argument the author is using when you evaluate it. So you want to read this handout as well. So to get us started, we have a discussion number 8, and the discussion introduces the idea of personal freedoms. So we live in a country, land of the free, and we're supposed to be free, but yet we really aren't free, are we? So I want for you to discuss what personal freedoms have we lost in recent years, or freedoms that we really have never had, but some people think we do. And a good example of something that you can write about, well, of course you don't want to write about it now because I just mentioned it, but a good example is now when you go to the airport, you have to take off your shoes, your belt. I mean, you practically have to strip down just to get on an airplane these days. You can't take anything liquid unless it's in 3-ounce bottles, and then at that point you can only take so many. So really, we've lost the freedom to be able to freely walk onto a plane and travel across the country. So why is that? Is that something that we should be concerned about? Or maybe you feel okay that's the case because now you feel safer. But there's a lot of things that have been going on in this country lately. You know that the Occupy movement, where people are protesting and they are being rejected and arrested for just, trying to utilize their First Amendment rights, the freedom of speech. And here they are, people saying, no, you can't say what you want, and locking them up and pepper spraying them. There's a lot going on. So we want to not only talk about that in discussion 8, but we want to start thinking about different topics that we can argue, or not argue, but that we can choose an argument article on to evaluate. So once you choose a topic, then you will choose an article. Okay? So as you choose your articles as a group, you can do one of two things. You can choose a topic first. So maybe you want to talk about freedom of speech, freedom of religion, or maybe even narrow it down, talk about gay marriage or gun control in Arizona, something like that. All of those topics fit underneath personal freedoms. But you can decide to send everybody out on their own and say, come back with a very good topic that you're interested in, and we'll vote on which one is the best, because you only need one article. But each person will contribute one, and then you will choose from the three. Or you could say, let's try to find articles on this topic, and then each person goes out and tries to find the best article. You can decide how you want to do that. So here's how it's going to work. First, if you go up into activity and scroll down to where it says groups, you will see that there are 4 groups. 3 of them should be active: the Midnight Crusaders, Tiki Posse, and Dreamlanders. And you can see that David, Jessica, and Star are in the Tiki Posse. Johnny, Olivia, Angel, and Moses are in Midnight Crusaders. And Lonnie, Jamie, and Michelle are in Dreamlanders. If you check your email, you will see that I sent you an email message. And in the email message, all you have to do is click the link after you've logged into your school email account, and you will see the document that is your shared document. You all have the ability to edit in this document. So where it says add a title of something, then you can type right in here to add the information that you need to add. Okay, so you can erase it and so forth. If you want to leave messages for each other, you can do that just by simply highlighting a piece of text that you want to leave a message on, and then click Insert Comment, and then off to the side you can leave a comment. All right, and then hit the comment button, and then that comment is there. Once you are done with the comment, you can delete it or resolve it. I wouldn't delete it though, I would just resolve it, which means it goes away, but it's still there. Okay, so you can communicate with each other. Now, when someone else is viewing, as you can see here, I'm open up in another view. Go ahead and click that down arrow, and if you are online at the same time as someone else, you can chat with each other. So you can chat in this window. So if you want to talk to each other in real time, you can do that. If you don't want to do it in real time, just leave comments for each other by adding a comment. Okay, so that's pretty much how you're going to share the document. So let me get out of here. Now, if you go back to the group, you can see here the directory of the group. You can click on the group to go into the group. I sent you all invitations to join the group, so you should get an email that asks for you to join the group. If you didn't get the email, you can always come to the group and request membership to the group. And then once you're in the group, you can talk to each other in here by typing in this box. So once you find the articles that you want to share them by adding it to this area here. So just click this link here, and this is how you're going to share a file. So you can share the file by pasting in the URL. So you're thinking, where am I going to get these articles? Well, anywhere that you find the articles, and I recommend doing a search, not on the internet, but in the databases. So remember how I taught you how to use the databases in assignment number 8? Well, now you need to go back to assignment number 8. Any article that you find in the databases will have a URL that you can share. And if you have trouble figuring out how to get that URL, just ask me and I will show you how to share the link here so that your classmates can benefit in reading the article. Okay, so each person in the group will share their article here. And then the three of you will then discuss which article is the best and choose one. I need to see that discussion taking place here. Once you have chosen the article, then you go back to your shared document and you create your cover page, your rhetorical situation cover page. Now, this is very similar to what you do when you write your own essay, but this time it's not about you. You are not the author of this paper. So, the rhetorical situation cover page will be about the author and the article that you are doing the rhetorical analysis on. So instead of saying author, well, I am a student and I know this, you want to say the author is Dr. Richard Brown. He is a professor at UCLA and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Who is his audience, the intended audience of that article that you just read? So this is the rhetorical situation cover page, part of assignment number 9. And then down below is the outline, and each person will then decide which section on the outline they are going to do. Remember, everybody is doing the introduction, and everybody will do the conclusion together, right? But in the middle, you can decide. You can say, well, Jessica's going to do pathos, and Johnny's going to do counter arguments, and Lonnie's going to do ethos, and David's going to do uh, logos. Split it up as equally as you can. Obviously, logos is probably the biggest section out there. So if there's 3 of you in a group, maybe only one person focuses on logos. But you can decide how you want to do that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. That's the end of module or week 13 for module 4. I lost my place here. Here we go. Let's go back to module 5. So that is the end of Module 5 overview. So you can get started by participating in the discussion and then get started by getting your group together and choosing an article that you can then decide which you will do the assignment on. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know.